Monty and the Pharaoh presents DA30, the only online pro wrestling game show. And now, here's your host, Bruce ESO Butler.
Still not sure about muscle.
Hey, thank you, Joe, and welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling's #1 game show, DA30, where every week I challenge this elite group of pro wrestling experts with questions based on the current pro wrestling scene. Based on their answers, they're awarded points, and the one with the most points at the end of the night becomes DA30 World Champion. This is ESO. I'm your referee. Now let's get this party started. First, to my right, we have a man who claims to be the smartest man in the room. I know he's eager to get his championship back. He is Dan Sebastiano. What's up, Dan?
Hey guys, yeah, the real champ is here. I know there must have just been a calculation error the last couple of weeks because if it had been graded fairly,
calculation error is in my pocket there, buddy. Let's not get that.
I say deduct 3 points. Take 3 points.
What he's saying is Bruce's check cashed before mine did. That's what he's saying.
Nice. Hey, Dan. Welcome. Welcome aboard, and I know it's always competitive when you're here. So next we have the president of Thursday nights. He is the one, the only, Mr. Phil DeCesare. What's going on, Mr. President?
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to the 30. You know, I remember this book called The Smartest Guys in the Room. It was actually about a company called Enron.
Enron. Yeah.
You look what happened to Enron, so... That's just a little subtle dig to our friend Dan, who is, let me tell you, man, you talk about the youthful movement here. This guy is it. So, and I'm digging his shirt, by the way. Love the old school Redskins. So, style and profile, my friend.
What, are we going to plug Dan tonight? Is that what we're doing? We're plugging Dan? Dan's piano? All right.
Dan's on.
Dan, I love you all.
Well, Mr. President, you getting a paycheck from him, too?
Not yet. I'm working on it, though. Greasing the skids, you know?
Right?
Greasing the skids. Cooking the books.
Cooking the books.
Next, we have a man of multiple talents. Not only is he DA30 World Champion, he's also the Poet Laureate of DA30, and I think he has some pros for us. He is the player, Benny Scala. What's going on, man?
You're here.
The play is back. I'd like to thank all my beautiful friends all over the country for all the beautiful vibrations. I'll be very impressed if anybody figures out where I got that from. But I figure with a lava lamp, I should do a retro intro. And, of course, tonight is Pros to Playa. This one is dedicated to the #1 playmate, Beth Harper. Hopefully she's out there listening, and here it goes. The Playa is your defending champ, and the playmate is always in the Playa's camp. The playmate has come back to Playaville because when it comes to the Playa, she just can't get her fill. The playmate is hoping the playmate is hoping the Playa can repeat. But no matter what, she'll get a healthy dose of the Playa's hot Italian pizza.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I got to take a dump.
Benny, as always, you know, your pros is amazing. I got to start you off with you a five bonus points. So,
thank you very much.
Oh, my God.
This is ridiculous. Oh, my God.
I'm on my way to repeat, back to back and belly to belly.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So we got a pretty active chat in there. And hey, Joe.
Hey, what?
It's time to introduce you. This is Centerville's own What a Day Joe. What's going on, Joe?
I'll tell you what's going on. This whole giving people points before this is ridiculous. 10% Venmo charge has got to stop. It's killing me. We're not able to pay bills this week, so whatever. Oh, Dan, by the way, you look great tonight.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Hey, Dan. And great promo by Benny. And
hey, Bruce, I know you're giving points out, but Benny loses points for not complimenting me in his intro,
that was supposed to go to Phil. Phil, sorry about that. I got to fix that. That was supposed to go to...
Mine is free, geez.
Hey.
Don't worry, I'll fix it. I'll get it on the right person there. That belongs down.
Send it now, I repeat.
All right.
All right. So now that the scores have been...
Speaking of dogs, I don't have one.
Ooh, the black dog, Montes Vineyard, the black dog.
You know it, baby. Watch the dog move.
Oh, there you go. Ooh.
All right. The scores.
All right.
The scores have been updated to the current where they're supposed to be represented. So listen, guys.
How am I -3? Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, you want to lose a couple more?
Mary.
That's going to
All right, guys. As you know, it's been another crazy week in pro wrestling. We got to get this started. You guys know the rules. Lying, cheating, foreign objects, and all other distractions are allowed and encouraged. Points are given based on amusing comments, trash talking, bribery via PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and credit cards are accepted, but please include a 10% surcharge. Now, who's ready for this first question?
Let's do it.
It is.
Anybody?
All right, so
do it anyway.
let's see who comes up. It looks like Joe.
Oh, come on.
All right, so listen, here's the question, guys. It's been reported by Frightful that Sammy Guevara has been suspended by AEW for his match against Jeff Hardy from February 16th's episode of Rampage. It appears that Guevara did not follow protocol after something went wrong in their match. This has led to Hardy being off TV. What do you think of Guevara and his actions and the suspension? Is this the right call by AEW? So it looks like you're on the 30. Let's get a timer ready here.
I'm already at 0. Jesus. How was that response? That was good, right?
All right.
We going forward, backward? What are we doing here?
There you go.
Oh, there we go. All right.
You are on to 30. Go.
All right. First of all, I am not buying this Sammy Guevara suspension. I'm sorry. I don't buy it, especially when it comes to almost 3 weeks after the fact of the supposed investigation. This is merely a storyline of some sort. If you read the AEW statement, quote unquote, Guevara is suspended because of concussion protocol was not followed. And that resulted in Sammy hitting his finisher on Hardy, which they were told shouldn't have happened. What is wrong with this picture? What kind of concussion protocol does AEW have? I know you have a concussion, but go ahead and go out there and send your talent out to wrestle, but just don't use your finisher. I don't get it. That's like sending my 5-year-old to a pool party and say, don't get wet. I mean, it's just going to happen. So, I'm not sure about this. The final move that gave Jeff Hardy the broken nose, whatever. Did you see some of the other stuff that they did in that match? It was horrendous. I got a concussion just watching it. His top talent out there to perform with some type of concussion or concussion protocol. I mean, seriously, I think we have a different story towards the end of all this down the road. Someone needed time off or he had to spend more time with the baby and all that good stuff. But to send somebody out there to only perform halfway or don't do certain things is not only disheartening to the wrestler, it's just disheartening to the fans. I just don't agree with it. I think Tony Khan is the one that needs to have his head examined for a concussion, because I just don't like the fact that he would send one of his top star talent out there and only perform half the match. So it's crazy.
Nice job, Joe. You're out of the negative. That's a good place to be. Good.
9. What the hell is that?
You know what? 12's a good score for a question like that.
9 times.
Let's see, who do we have up next? It looks like one of the former champions is up. Well, everybody here is a former champion. Let's get the timer ready.
I believe it's pronounced longest reigning former champion.
And I know a man who's eager to get that title back.
Absolutely.
Here you go, Dan. You're on to 30.
All right. From what I understand from the information that was released, Jeff Hardy was concussed during the match, and instead of following protocol of the quick finish, Sammy Guevara landed another finishing move on him, very similar to what happened to Jon Moxley earlier in the year when he was dropped on his head and then dropped on his head again. I understand suspending Sammy Guevara, just because this is not the first time he's been reckless with somebody. It's not the first time a Hardy brother has been savagely concussed. But you know who else needs to be suspended? The official in that match, because this is not the first time they've had sloppy stuff like this where somebody's been concussed and it seems like no one at ringside knows how to deal with a brain injury. I get you have to have somewhat of a damaged brain in order to be involved in AEW at this point, it seems like, as far as the locker room and leadership goes. But when you're having people, including somebody like Jeff Hardy, who, is what, maybe 10% of what he used to be, but still a bigger draw than 99% of the nobodies in your locker room. You can't have that. Sammy's been, the fact that he has to prove he's loco before he jumps on shit and does crazy, stupid, unsafe moves. I'm sure we'll get to talk about more of those as the show goes on. But I agree with the suspension. I think it was the right call. I think it needs to send a message to the locker room that you need to pay attention, but that message is only sent if you suspend the referee as well, which so far hasn't happened. It seems like Sammy's alone in the punishment, which does make me question, one, its validity, and two, what the point is. But if all goes well, I understand what they're doing, and I agree with it.
Nice job.
Dun, dun, dun. Jesus
Wow.
Christ, 14.
Dang.
Man, that's not far off of where you were, Joe. Come on.
Hey, honey, keep the car running.
All right. So let's get who's up next. It looks like Mr. President. Looks like you're up on the 30. And go.
Well, yeah, this isn't even the first time that Sammy's been suspended. Okay, I think we harken back some time. He might have had, I know, at least one, perhaps two suspensions, and I think one of which had to do with female interactions, I recall. And again, let's not forget that he's a very young guy. Okay, and sadly, we've been exposed to some of his personal life. I think he had a very quick breakup with one girl, and then I think he got married, and I don't know if he's a father yet or on his way of becoming a father. I think he might actually be now, but he's still a very young guy, okay? And regarding the match in question, it's kind of ironic that it's he who's getting suspended, considering, if we recall, Jeff Hardy showing up was it against Sting when Jeff showed up a little under the weather? So, interestingly, now Jeff is the victim of this. And it's sheer stupidity on Sammy's part, right? He botched the moonsault, the knees smacked into the head, okay? Mistake one. And then that other GT, whatever move he does, where the idea is for him to flip his opponent's head onto his knees and strike with his knees again to the head, was just sheer lunacy. I mean, you've already hit him once. I mean, what are the chances of it happening again? So it was sheer stupidity. But also the conspiracy guy in me makes me wonder if there's not even something else behind this too. And I don't think the suspension even kicked in until after he had a match, a high-profile match before. So, little shifty. I mean, right decision to suspend him, but I think there's more to the story. But
as always,
I think no offense.
As always, Mr. President takes that little bit of overtime, but that's that presidential immunity. I can't do anything about it, guys. I apologize. It's in his contract.
They're only the second longest rumblings from a president today.
That's true.
Real quick, do you guys see the DraftKings? They got over under on all the slip ups that are going to take place tonight. This is insane.
I don't think it's going to go the 20-minute time limit either. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a long State of the Union. I can't imagine that.
Well, listen. We got one more person in this round, and that's the current champion, Benny. Benny, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, let's do this.
Well, am I really ready? Because I don't watch AEW, but I'm going to say this. The only Guevara that interests me is Che Guevara. Now there was a man for all seasons. He was a doctor. He was an author. He was also an Argentinian Marxist. So if you're a Marxist, what do you do? Do you walk around saying imperialism is the worst thing I ever heard? So who the fuck is Sammy Guevara anyway? He's an indie jabroni who's either always hurting someone or hurt himself. He sounds like the male equivalent of that purple-haired eggnog glugging skank that is now calling herself Mercedes Moner. Mercedes? Oh, please. More like an Etzel. No. Guevara blatantly violated concussion protocol during his match with Jeff Hardy. Although, I mean, can you give someone without a brain a concussion? Because I don't think Hardy's got much left. Guevara should be wrestling in buy here, pay here car dealership parking lots with the rest of those indie clowns. And, as far as medical procedures, I think Tony Khan, he needs one himself. And I actually have a word in Urban Dictionary. It's called craniorectoscopy. And that means, the surgical procedure of having one's head pulled out of their ass.
What?
Play it out.
Jesus.
Man, and he's leaving time like on the board.
Spoken like a man who knew he was 5 points ahead before the round started.
No kidding, huh? Jeez.
Nice job.
Look at that.
How can you take anything away from him? Nice job there. That's why he's the champ, though, guys. Well, listen, we got to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we got some more questions for you guys. So we'll be right back.
And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence, Collision Specialists, 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. Auto Excellence. Jimmy, I gotta take a dump.
What?
No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. Elm Logistics, for all your logistic needs, call 631-299-3595. That's 631-299-3595. Elm Global Logistics, pride, performance, and partnerships.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the 30 Wrestling's hottest game show. And I am What a Day Joe, joined by my esteemed colleagues. I am actually not hosting the show. I was asked to take you out of that fabulous break. But we do have a crooked referee that is in the middle, and that is ESO. And by the looks of it, I am mathematically eliminated from any contention this week. But hey, who you never know. I could probably.
I was going to give you some extra points for that, but after the rest of that comments, you're staying where you are.
Oh, you know what? That deserves one more. Hold on. That's it. That is it. Here she comes.
Let's see. We got the next
That's all
question
there is,
coming up. What do we have? The next question. So, this past weekend, AEW had its farewell to Sting as he and Darby Allin teamed up against the Young Bucks in what is supposed to be the final match of his career. How do you think AEW did with the build-up and the presentation? What do you think of the surprises and the results? So it looks like, let's see, it looks like Dan.
He's ready, baby.
With the wrong man on this one.
You're like a bull.
All right. Well, first off, we talked about the build last week. I thought it was garbage. This was Sting's retirement go home tour. Every episode should have been built around, hey, people that want to come to this show, this is your last chance to ever see Sting. And it wasn't. I think they said that maybe once or twice in the last couple months. And Sting announced he was retiring last year. The fact that you're selling 2,500, 3,000 tickets for Sting's last appearance shows how poorly this was booked. The Young Bucks, again, my opinion, wrong opponents just because they're garbage and awful and mid-tier at best. I get they were Sting's request, but let's be honest, Sting's never loved wrestling. He's always been in it for the money. He's been a get-along guy. They could have told Sting his last match was going to be against the Dark Order, and he would have been cool with it. As for the match itself, I mean, I would love to make rants about Outlaw Mud Show garbage, but Outlaw Mud Show garbage actually at least somewhat looks believable. The only believable things were the 12 stitches Darby Allin needed on his back when he yeeted himself through a real pane of glass. I mean, it's this, and not to mention real pane of glass. You had it next to the fucking apron. You had people in the crowd posting on Twitter with little nicks and, hey, look, I got hit with glass, which AEW was very quick to point out it's not their responsibility. And then they throw Sting through an obviously gimmicked piece of Coke glass, which also praised the crowd, by the way. Brilliant fucking move on that one. And this is the way you send him off? I mean, granted, I guess the same guy that gets rescued by RoboCop, you can't expect too high a standard. But this match was garbage, and it was an embarrassment to end his career that way.
Wow, nice job, Dan. That was
good one.
Quite
Nice.
the
Vicious,
quite the
baby.
rant.
Vicious.
Quite the rant.
Vicious.
Man, that contradicted all that stuff
We had
you
a couple of
read.
F-bombs in there.
So,
Nice.
all right, Mr. President.
And delicious.
Mr. President.
Uh-oh.
Looks like it's your turn.
I better put my rally cap back on here.
President.
All right.
I'm not even on the right page, am I? Oh, there I am. All right.
There you go. Okay, rally cap's on.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
I'll take a different track. Well, I appreciate Dan's opinion. I think he has some valid points there too. I'll look towards the good of it. One of the cool things I think was Sting's kids, again, who bear such a cool resemblance to him, dressed up as far as I remember. Surfer Sting, classic Sting, and I think with the red, white, and blue face paint. And then I think it was the Crow Sting, maybe the Red Crow Sting as the other. So totally cool to showcase them and give them a little more involvement too. And in terms of some of the other vital people in Sting's life, acknowledging them. And I understand Luger wasn't shown on camera, but was backstage, and it was great. Not only that WWE allowed him through the Legends contract does have certain rules, but allowed him to appear. And actually, they acknowledged him on Raw too, which was great. Michael Cole did. Beyond that, I agree. Maybe that Darby Glass spot was pretty risky, and I didn't even realize how close, as Dan said, that the fans came to it. So, maybe in hindsight, and I understand that Darby probably wanted to do something really, big on this night. Bucks had to lose, obviously, and obviously I'm glad they did. It does put the title up for grabs, certainly, too, and adds another element. So maybe from that end, it didn't seem like a totally cohesive story. But having him win in fairly grand fashion, I believe it was Greensboro was sold out, and again, have the venue very important too.
Yeah,
so
keep talking, Bill. Just keep talking. Just keep going.
All righty. That's it, baby. Woo! All right. There you go.
People are tuning in going, has Joe even gone yet with that lousy 9 scores? Like, this is embarrassing. This is like,
listen, we'll make it look like, listen, we're going to make it look a little worse right now because the champ is up.
Oh, God.
Champion.
Betty, you ready?
Nope. I'll do it.
Let's go.
Look at that lava lamp heating up. All right.
Just break out the Vaseline and the crowbar. I was going to do my Maeve install. I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. I got nothing on this. The only thing I have is what I've read online, but I do have an opinion as far as Sting. Sting retiring in AEW would be like, I'm trying to think, Mariano Rivera, the great Sandman, pitching his final game for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, or Sir Laurence Olivier.
Real writers.
Sir Laurence Olivier giving his final performance at an Elks Lodge. I mean, I don't see it. This guy has to do another match somewhere else. I mean, where else but WWE? And I think they owe him. I mean, I think his first WrestleMania when he lost, which I still don't get that booking, when he lost to Triple H. I think they owe him one, and I think that's where he needs to go out. I just I can't take AEW seriously. I'm sure they paid him very well, for what he's done, but I don't think this is his last match. He's too big of a star to go out the way he went out. So I don't know if there's still time for WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania is going to hold a lot of surprises, and I'm hoping to God this is one of them. We're staying.
Nice job, Betty. Not quite the round that I thought you were going to have, but still, it just makes Joe's 9 look very insignificant there.
Talk about something other than AEW shit.
So I get the comment of the night. I get the comment of the night in the chat. Joe is doing the job tonight. That's what he's doing. That's right. RJ Hudson, thank you, sir.
We have canine concurrence here.
That's it. Shoot the dog.
She doesn't like AEW either.
So, but don't worry, Benny. I think that's the end of the AEW for the night. And
okay,
at this rate, it looks like you're pretty safe. So let's move it over to Joe. Let's see if he can pull this one out. Joe, I got faith in you on this one. Let's go.
All right. Well, this match, Sting and the Young Bucks and Darby Allin, just like the rest of AEW, this absolutely 100% made no sense whatsoever. If Wednesday's Dynamite before Revolution was any indication of what Sting's send-off was going to be like, you would have known right there, because you didn't see Sting until the overrun of the last 2 minutes of Wednesday Night Dynamite. But going to the match now, Darby Allin, senseless stunt. This whole match just really rubs me the wrong way, and I don't know why, if it was because it was a tag match or the fact that they wanted to retain the titles, only to have the titles now be vacated and so forth. But yet Darby Allin came out with his title last night and laid it in the ring. Well, where's Sting's title? Which he gets to keep it now since he's retired. I'm not buying the retirement. I said it last night on my show on What a Day with Joe Lowry. Please subscribe. Go right ahead. I'm not buying it. I think when a wrestler does hang up their boots, they take off their boots, they put him in the middle of the ring, and they call it a career. I don't think it's happened. I think that was Sting's last match in AEW. I really honestly think that they're going to pull out all the stops. I think the Undertaker and Sting will be in a WrestleMania. I wish it was this year, but it probably won't be. But I do see that happening. It has to be two iconic people who represented their companies at a very significant time. I think we need to see that match. I think Sting's send-off should be with the WWE because that's who put him in the Hall of Fame. And I think he still has that black eye from that match against Triple H at WrestleMania a few years back, which was horrendous. But nonetheless, I don't buy Sting being retired.
Well said. I didn't even get a chance to point it out. Is there anything more indicative of the amateur hour of AEW than Sting's last appearance on AEW ever? Him laughing into the microphone that he's being cut off because they're out of time.
I forgot that. Yeah, exactly.
What happened?
They should have played the Beatles song "When I'm 64."
If you didn't see it, Benny, when the match ended, Sting went to cut a promo and thank the fans, and he was literally mid-sentence, and Darby leaned over and must have said, "Hey, we're done," and Sting laughed and was like, "Hey, I'm being sent off. Good night, everyone," and the screen faded.
Fade to black. Yeah.
They had to tell him
stop. Tony Khan with all his billions can buy a little extra time.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
You remember what was it? WCW when the Goldberg DDP main event?
Oh yeah,
they ran over.
So again, AEW making 0 cents.
Hey guys, could one of you give some shout outs to the chat in there because I don't have that brought up on the screens right now. Who do we have out there tonight?
Let's see. We got RJ Hudson out there with his great one-liners.
Yeah.
Fox Williams in the house.
Cannon, as always.
Who
else we got out here? Jason, Beth.
Baby
First Lady of Pro Wrestling.
First Lady of Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
Miss Maria.
Nice.
Yeah, yes, and Maria.
Well, welcome everybody. Awesome.
Everyone.
Yeah, we truly appreciate your loyalty.
Phil DeCesare's in the chat. How about that, huh?
Who's that?
All right, guys.
Who dat?
So, listen, the WWE has finally started to release some of the names for this year's Hall of Fame class. The first was Paul Heyman, a man who's still very involved in the weekly programming of WWE, and Bull Nakara, who was involved in WWF for a short, somewhat unrememberable time. There are rumors of Bray Wyatt, Haku, and maybe Sylvester Stallone being inducted. How do you feel this year's Hall of Fame class is shaping up so far? And who do you think should be added to this class? So let's see. Who do we have up? Hey, Phil. Looks like you're up on the 30.
Phil DeCesare.
Great question, Bruce.
So,
yeah.
Let's go.
Well, Paul Lee has been, by his own admission, inducted several times, and at the time, I don't know if he refused induction. So it's likely his time, as seemingly his career is kind of winding up. Of course, the bloodline story may cease at WrestleMania, may continue in another form. So we might not have Paulie around, at least on screen, for too much longer. So he's definitely a big part of it. As far as the celebrity wing, Sly Stallone, man, should be there. He's been there to induct before. He's been a part of wrestling all his life. And I guess the rumor is, I don't know if it's true, that he's going to be involved in training Sami Zayn. Did anyone hear that at all? Or is that just some whisperings that I heard and read? But that would be interesting. So he's definitely a contender too. As far as the others go, we've just had some losses and I'm glad they acknowledged Ole's loss on TV too, albeit briefly. They seem to do a manager. They seem to be someone fairly current. They tend to represent someone who's departed. And of course we have a Warrior Award that's part of it too. I'm not sure who is up for that. And again, Bray Wyatt is a name that keeps coming up, and talk about, someone in remembrance. I think maybe Bray and Luke Harper together should be inducted. Ooh. I think that would make sense now since the two are gone. I wonder too, is Paul Ellering, speaking of Pauls and managers, and someone who at age 70 is still an active member of the roster, Yeah. He'd be a good addition if he isn't in already. I don't know. Yeah. But the class is starting to shape up well. Bull Nakano, maybe it's her time. Again, don't remember much about her. She was a big force back in the day. But, so I go for her too. And I have a feeling I'm up because I can't see the time.
Yeah, just keep
you're right,
talking,
like,
Phil. Just keep talking.
No.
Hey, guys, if you're just tuning in, stay tuned to the Monty and the Pharaoh show. That kicks off in about 5 minutes now because Phil
You
talked.
were still talking about Paul Ellering when your time expired.
Okay, fair
All right.
enough.
Listen, Benny, he's trying to eat into your time, but it's your turn. What do you think? What do you think about this Hall of Fame there? Let's go.
Well, and Dan actually posted something online on our Dan and Benny page earlier, and I made the comment that I cannot take this Hall of Fame seriously until they right some wrongs. And maybe with Vince out of the picture, maybe they'll do that now. But, you got a man like Dominic DeNucci who built the old Worldwide Wrestling Federation. You have a man like Ivan Koloff who scored arguably what I think was the greatest, most significant victory in the history of professional wrestling over Bruno. How is he not in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, and then you have guys, and Joe has always mentioned these two names, Tony Gurria and Rick Martel. Gurria, multiple-time tag team champion. Martel, not only a multiple-time tag team champion, but AWA World Heavyweight Champion. Why aren't these guys, what are they going to wait till they pass away and, maybe someday induct them posthumously? But, I have no issue. Bull Nakano, great women's wrestler. Paul Heyman, I think Paul Heyman is grossly underutilized. He just, he's a kiss ass right now for Roman Reigns. And I don't think they use, the guy should be on the Mount Rushmore of promo cutters. He's very, very underrated. So I'm glad, he definitely deserves to go in, but I'm more concerned with the people who aren't in at this point.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nice job. Nice job. Nice job.
Ooh, very good.
Ooh, geez. Well, I'm out of it.
Thank God, no more AEW questions.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, if you don't, Joe, if you don't catch up right now, you actually are out of it. This is the third round, so hopefully you can
That's
get
the story of my life. If you don't shape up, you're out of here.
13 points. You can move on to the next round. So I'm rooting for you.
Oh, that's.
So let's see, Joe. You're on to 30.
Oh, of course I am. What was the question again? The exact question.
Okay.
How was this year's class shaping up?
Yeah, we know. We've seen Bull Nakaro and Paul Heyman already announced. There's rumors of the other people. So all right.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay. All right. So since COVID, we are kind of ahead of schedule in announcing WWE Hall of Fame inductees. Last year, March 10th was the time we got our first inductee, which was Rey Mysterio. I think the list so far, the announcements have been okay. I had a feeling, I mentioned it last week, that Paul Heyman was probably going to get a nod. Bull Nakano, to me, is kind of a surprise. But I would think that they'd want to kick this off with a real bang of, because they're selling tickets for this event. This is actually after SmackDown. So if you are at SmackDown that night, you get to stay for the event. This is a tough. The black cloud still hovers over the WWE and WrestleMania with the Vince McMahon thing going on. I'm dying to see right now if Stephanie McMahon's going to be there, Shane McMahon's going to be there. This is kind of a really a tough thing because, as we know, this is Vince McMahon's baby. If WrestleMania is Vince's firstborn, his secondborn was the Hall of Fame. So I think right now the list is going accordingly. If you're going to do a Bray Wyatt thing, I say do it in one night, have his own night. But I have a feeling that's going to be the big name stopper, the big stopper here. Lex Luger's rumored to be going in. Batista was supposed to go in last year, but the Dune thing got in the way. So he's possibly Cyndi Lauper on the celebrity wing and so forth. But so far, I think the list is pretty much going according to what we thought. It's just not being announced in the order that, I would never have thought Paul Heyman would be the first guy announced as an inductee to this year's class. I thought it would have been an actual wrestler or a former champion. And I'm not just talking Bull Nakano, who spent only X amount of years with the WWE, so forth, because a lot of her success was in Japan. So,
Joe, I'm sorry, but unless Phil commits a foul, and well, that might happen. You're going to go home after this round, so you might want to send some Venmos quickly. All right. Let's see. So, Dad, looks like you're on to 30.
It's nice to have the champion's advantage when I'm not even champion. You just assume I'm going to get enough points. That's cool.
Oh, that's a deduction. That's a deduction.
For the names that have already been announced, Paul Heyman. I mean, I know they said they've tried to get him in the past and he's declined it. Bull Nakano is a good call as far as women's wrestling. I mean, there was a period where Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze was the WWF women's division. They wrestled here, they wrestled in Japan, changed the title back and forth a few times. If they hadn't have been there, some of what they later had with women's wrestling wouldn't have happened. As far as people, I mean, you guys all mentioned names, Martel, Nikolov. There's people that absolutely have to be in there. Absolutely. I think now's the time with Vince gone. I said this last week, TKO needs to start reaching out to people like Nikita's family. Go out to someone like a Martel. Go out to somebody who would have told Vince to go pound sand, but now he's gone. Honestly, I think if I'm TKO, you stick it to him and go after somebody like a Massaro or somebody who is a symbolic pick of, look, this is not Vince's Hall of Fame anymore. This is our Hall of Fame, and this is our company. Obviously, I agree. Bray Wyatt will probably be named. Batista. As far as celebrities, Stallone's one of those ones where he's like the Drew Carey. Yes, absolutely. He's been involved before, but just a few appearances. He's not a Donald Trump or a Mr. T or somebody who you can definitively say was heavily involved in the origin of WWF and wrestling and the big stuff with Mania and all that. But they've got so many good names. Demolition would be my pick for the team you have to put in now because they're both alive and old.
Nice job, and yeah, I could have predicted this. Unfortunately, Joe's out.
No kidding, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, we can't see him now, but we can still hear him. Joe, if it weren't for that penalty in the beginning, you would have been still in the game.
Well, I only have one thing to say at this time. Hold on, right now, I only have one thing to say, and you know what it is.
You regret you have only one life to give for your country. No.
Good luck, guys. I'll be watching.
All right,
I'll
thanks.
be sitting here.
Take care, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Wow, so good job, guys. Got two more questions left. Somebody's going home after this one. Let's see what we got.
Hey,
all
who's Loose's money? Loose Cannon? Who's their money going to? Who's getting
nice
those
job,
points?
Nice job, Loose. Thank you. I will put them to the appropriate people.
Hey, we didn't mention I don't think we mentioned our Aussie friend Chris Lee in there. I didn't want to give him a short shrift, but he's in the house.
What's going on, Chris? How's everything, my friend?
We love him.
I think it's Saturday over there.
It probably it could be.
Oh, Loose
No, it is.
Look at that.
It actually is. It actually is Saturday.
He's still Chris is still stuck in traffic driving home from the Elimination Chamber. That's a problem.
All right, guys. So this week, 2K Sports is about to release their new WWE 2K24. It's been rumored that 2K was doing everything to get Brock Lesnar and Vince McMahon out of the video game. Vince McMahon's still been shown in parts with a blurred face, and Brock is still somewhat present, but not in the dominating facts, but still holds roughly 12% of the company. Do you think we really have seen the end of Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar? Do you think we will be brought up on the original? Do you think Vince will be brought up on the criminal trafficking charges? And what part do you think Brock Lesnar will play in these upcoming trials? So, Dan.
Oh, me first.
Well, if anybody can do this, you can. So let's go. You're on to 30.
All right. First off, yes, I completely think Vince is gone. I'm glad. Obviously, the game was already, anybody that knows anything about game development, the game had already gone gold. It had been pressed. It had been coded. There was very little they could do at the last minute. They did take Lesnar out. 2K, I don't know if anybody saw, a 2K gamer confirmed that Lesnar's code has been blocked and cut from the game. So even people that hack the game can't unlock him as a playable character. He's specifically NPC only. Vince's face is blurred. Vince selling stock, I think, is great symbol. He's going to keep the 12% just because he wants the money. He wants those dividend payments. But he is done. He is gone. As far as criminal charges, I think it's still too early. Honestly, I think at his age and the unfortunate history our criminal justice system has with sexual assault victims, the odds of him being convicted of anything are very, very low. Lesnar, if he's named, he will be part of any hearing and discovery. I think the fact that he's already being pushed aside is a good indicator of that. what involvement he'll have in the trial. I think Lesnar is going to end up in the same boat that spineless, no good champion of the people is, where he'll just point at Vince and go, I was a victim too. I didn't want to look at those pictures Vince kept sending me, he'll do the Kobe apology where him and Sable will be up there and she's wearing $10 million worth of jewelry while he talks about he had a weakness and he apologizes to his wife and family. But no, I don't think Vince is going to come from it. I'm glad 2K is doing what they're doing to cut them. And next year we'll see that they're gone completely.
Nice job. You're in the lead. Phil, you got a lot of work to do here.
It's okay, baby.
Because you're on the 30 next. Go.
All right. Not only is it too early to tell if Vince is going to face criminal charges, but based on, I think, what we know thus far, to the average layperson, I think the opinion is that there doesn't seem to be enough to charge him with any criminality, given, I think, what is coming out about the opposite side, about the opposing side. I mean, these are all somewhat, well, I'm not going to characterize anyone in terms of innocence and guilt right now, but I do think Vince has obviously plenty of resources to keep the fight going for a long time. And it's the sort of thing that could ultimately be protracted out, because we've already seen, how much time has elapsed in this case already. And boy, do I know about elapsing time as I look at the clock. As far as Brock goes, yeah, it's a stain. I think it's something he can recover from. We'll see him again. Maybe we'll see him somewhere else, and I don't know where, in pro wrestling in the future somewhere. Perhaps not now. Perhaps it'll just be a cooling off period until I think more facts come to light, So what was the other question? About Brock, about Vince, and the removal was, I think, obviously necessary. It's a safety precaution. I think it's so curious. The dog is agreeing with me here. I think it's so curious that Brock was put in this.
Hey man, I gotta win again.
Jeopardize his career, his freedom, but his marriage. And again, Vince always had designs on Sable. We recall Vince definitely was digging on Sable. So I find that kind of ironic that in one of his last acts he could actually end up separating them. But I'm hoping for the best for everybody. I really am, and it's just an awful situation. And that's it.
Man, how you say you're good at managing time and then go over half an hour and
I'm bad at managing time.
So
I've got like what Seth Rollins might have, huh? Or no, what he says The Rock is right. Diarrhea Dwayne.
Give me time.
Oh, that was the worst.
all right.
Captain Limp Wrist, Seth himself. Oh my goodness.
All right, player. You only need 11 points to book your way into the finals. I think you can do it, champ.
All right. Let's do this. They win.
You're on.
All right. So let's get to Brock Lesnar first. I agree with Dan. I mean, I think Lesnar will, in a heartbeat, just flip the switch and say, it wasn't me. He made me do it. The devil made me do it. I think Brock Lesnar has a lot retired to his ranch, I think somewhere in South Dakota, or where is it? Somewhere in one of those states, Montana. I don't think we see him anymore. And, as far as Vince, now I got to say something really quick because, Bruce and I participated in a chat room by one of our competitors, Lee Cole. And, we were talking about this, and Lee Cole was making the absurd allegation that Vince McMahon sold his stock so that because there's another presidential candidate who we won't say who it is, but who's experiencing a cash flow problem, and that Vince took this money out so that he could help his quote unquote friend, so that if Vince got, something happened to him legally, that he could get pardoned at a later point. So, I don't know. Monty and the Pharaoh does not ascribe to throwing shit against the wall and seeing what will stick.
Absolutely. Nice job, Benny. You booked your tickets to the next round. Sorry, Phil. We got to say goodbye.
I don't know I don't know who
All
you're
right,
talking
I
about.
worked it on purpose so I could go have my steak and macaroni. But
Yeah,
no.
Nice and macaroni.
Macaroni.
Steakaroni.
Stickeroni.
That's a nice.
I don't know.
Nice meal.
I don't know who you're talking about, Benny, but that accusation was huge.
So there goes Phil. Later, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Take
Yeah.
care, buddy.
So listen, guys, we have to take one more quick commercial break, and when we get back, we got the finals between these two, podcast mates. We'll be right back.
The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Tired of that same old breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Same old tasting scrambled eggs, burger, that dinner steak, ribs, or pork chops. Why not add a little bit of spice or just a touch of heat to make the difference? Change that scrambled egg with a little bit of Johnny Fabulous's John Cena Sr.'s $1 Million Jalapeno Hot Sauce. Great on burgers, steaks, chops, and those barbecued ribs.
And Nitro's Garage for all your automotive needs. Call 646-675-2349. That's 646-675-2349. For all your automotive needs, Nitro's Garage. Ask for Jack.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to DA30. We are in the final round where I'm about to re-win my championship from Benny, who so savagely betrayed me last week with they claimed it was a good poem. We know it was a bribe, but we got it this time, everybody. The finals are coming up. Joe and the president are already out. Me and Benny, we are going to do this. Let's get it done.
Thanks for bringing us back, Dan. Nice job. Nice
Thanks,
job.
fart noise. Joe or whomever did that. Is that Joe?
I don't know.
Like when Mr. Burns went on the radio, they were making fart noises. Listeners, that wasn't me. Oh, that one was. Oh,
Joe's drinking that Johnny Fabo's hot sauce.
Right.
it goes right through you.
John Cena Seniors.
All right, guys, we're down to the final question. Let's get this going.
There it is.
So, unfortunately, the dirt sheets are already picking up on this. Post-WrestleMania, WWE employees are always on eggshells, as there is usually a looming layoff coming up. Is there anyone you'd like to see gone, or anyone you think will be gone that shouldn't be gone? So, Dan, as I said, you'd be first on the 30.
Let's do it.
Let's get you a timer here.
Give me that timer.
You're on the 30.
Not Vince's company. They need to prove that this is not Vince's company, and they need to show that this is us, and we're better, and we're bigger, and we're awesome, and we're not Vince. We're not going to screw you like when they cut and sent people home on the unemployment line during COVID or anything else. I think they cut a few Vince executives now that they got their first Mania out of the way, and The Rock's got his people in place, and I think they trimmed some NXT fat.
Dan, nice job, nice job. Everybody didn't hear that because for some reason, I think it was some shenanigans by Benny, but for some reason it went dark for the majority of that.
I did nothing this time.
Yeah.
But,
I had an hourglass for like a minute.
Yeah, that's me too. And I'm not sure what was going on. I'm post shenanigans.
I kept talking.
Yeah.
Because it said live, but you disappeared. The main feed disappeared for a second. It was just the four of us.
Everybody lost the stream. It froze in the chat. They're all saying in the chat.
All right,
Uh-oh,
as long
technical
as
difficulties.
As long as we're back, that's what's important. And you got the proper score. You got what you were supposed to. Let me show you where we were at with that.
What the hell was the goddamn score?
Dan's got
There it is.
12.
25.
That magic 12.
Uh-oh.
So Benny, it's up
So
to
when
you.
Benny gets 13, I know he pulled the plug on me.
So Benny, he's accusing you there. And
Powerful lava lamp.
here we go. You're on the 30. Go.
Much as I would like to disagree with Dan, I mean, I think he pretty much nailed it. I don't really see much in the way of talent cuts as far as wrestlers in on the main roster, even in NXT. I do see some trimming down of the fat in the office. I'm not sure. I believe if Bruce Pritchard is still working for the WWE, that would be a person who absolutely has to go, because that does send a message. Any of the Vince good old boys who are still on the payroll, they have to go. The thing that's really funny is this conversation really should be held with AEW, because they're the ones that are like, their payroll is so bloated that there's so much talent that they can't even use. And the problem is, when you try to make everybody over, you're really getting nobody over in the process. So yeah, I do think we'll still be some pairing of infrastructure, duplication of organization now that there's another company involved. But like, other than maybe a Bruce Pritchard, if he's still there, which I think he is, there's not going to be any, oh my God, I can't believe it. I really do think they've kind of lulled us to sleep, WWE, with the last couple of PLEs. I think WrestleMania is going to be a shocker.
Uh-oh, he held on. Nice job, Benny.
Whoa! Wow.
Those bonus points helped you. What? Yeah, those bonus points definitely helped you.
Poetry.
Let's see if we can get both Phil and Phil and Joe back in the room here.
Unbelievable. What a win for the player.
Wow.
Congratulations, player. Nice job.
Genetti's got nothing. Genetti through the glass got nothing on Benny cutting the feed.
I think you're going to see a lot of cuts on the administrative end. Anybody that was involved or affiliated with Vince McMahon will be gone.
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard. Like I said, I think they got to get rid of those people, but just get them through Mania, kind of like a new owner finishing the season and then fire in the front office.
They have to clean this. They're in damage control mode now, but after WrestleMania, all bets are. Everyone's gone. You'll see a whole new look. You're going to see a whole new everything.
So I'll tell you, Benny, you were talking about money. I don't know if you saw the Tokyo papers are reporting Okada's contract was for $14 million for the 40 billion yen. He's getting like
$4 million a year for 4 years.
$5 million a year. Yeah.
What? Are you serious?
Yep.
Yeah. Guess who's going to be at WrestleMania? So that just
funny,
confirms MJF.
You don't watch AEW, Benny, but yesterday when he debuted, he came out, immediately turned heel, and his first feud is going to be with Eddie Kingston over a mid-card title.
Yeah, and he took Eddie's money.
Worth every penny of that.
Wait, $60 million over 4 years?
They broke the bank with this guy. I don't know why. It's stupid.
Wow.
Hey, just
wait.
He's
not an
Hey guys, we got
Boston coming up.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here. We got the next live show coming up.
We don't gotta do nothing. Yeah. We don't gotta do nothing.
You want us to end on time, give some fair.
You're gonna die and pay taxes. You don't even pay taxes.
All right, guys. On behalf of this elite panel of experts, this is ESO, and we're out of here. Later, guys.